Hi everyone, and welcome to today's class. So this is going to be a quick energizing practice for those times when you are short on time, you only got 15 minutes, or you actually really need a reboost of energy. So we're going to start lying down on our backs. You don't need any props for this practice. Get yourself settled down, and maybe this is the first moment you've had to actually pause during your day. So let's just take a couple of breaths, allowing yourself to sink into the floor a little bit. Notice the feeling in the back of your head, the back of your neck, your shoulders. Can you create a little bit more space there? You let your shoulder blades slide down your back. Let your arms relax. Let your chest and your tummy get soft. And feel into your low back and your hips and your sit bones, and just about maybe wiggling the feet a little bit wider apart towards the edges of the mat, and feel your sit bones get a little bit wider, a little bit more space, contact with the floor. Try and relax your tummy and your pelvic floor, and notice your hip flexors start to relax as well. And the feet are just resting on the floor, really allowing the mat to hold you. And if it feels safe to do so, you might just want to bring your hands onto your abdomen. Just give it a little bit of a rub, a little bit of a soothing motion, maybe circles, and a little bit into the hip joints as well. So in this practice, we're going to be practicing engaging with our abdominals, getting some of that implicit action through the abdominals to help us stabilize and strengthen ourselves. So just using your hands on your body can just help to wake up your awareness of these areas so that you can really focus on them. And then let your hands rest at your sides, or they could remain on your belly, and keeping your feet about mat width apart. We're just going to think about gently rolling over the pelvis towards the right. So noticing the back of the pelvis in contact with the mat, can you gently roll the pelvis across towards the right hip so that the left lifts up and your knees flop over, and then roll across the pelvis, concentrating on that aspect of the motion. So you're really thinking about rolling the pelvic bowl across the mat and keeping going to the other side until your knees follow. And just continue to roll side to side across the pelvis, letting your knees follow, initiating the movement. You might even be noticing your abdominals already starting to switch on a little bit to help you with this motion. If you've got a sore back or you've been sitting a lot, this might be quite a pleasant massage as well for the pelvis. Let's just take one more to each side, noticing how the hips feel. Next time your knees are down towards the right, pause there, and then think about lifting the left knee up towards the ceiling and feel the pull that starts to happen across the groin muscles. And as that left knee reaches as high as it can without the right knee moving, then let that motion continue and drag the knee over and moving all the way over to the left. And take the right knee up, all the way up towards the ceiling, feeling that stretch in the inner thighs and the adductors, and then dragging the left knee over. So we're carrying on exactly the same motion, but now we're initiating it from the knees, from the inside of the hips, rather than from the pelvis. And just notice how that feels. Just a few to each side. You might prefer the first version of this and you might want to go back to it, or you might find this is opening up your hips really nicely. One more to each side. Don't worry if you've got clunky clicks in your hips. My left always kind of sounds really grindy. That's okay. And bring your knees back up to center, and you might need to gently realign your hips into the middle of the mat if they've moved. And this time, walk your feet in about hip width apart, knees in line with your hip bones. And bringing the arms to the side, just tuck your shoulder blades underneath you and down your back. And now think about rocking the pelvic bowl forward, tilting towards your knees and the low back lifting up, and then rolling it, tilting it up towards your nose and feeling the low back come in contact with the mat and the glutes lift up. So now tilting forward and back rather than rolling across side to side. And then once you've got that motion, you might want to just, as you tilt the pelvis up next time, let it carry on, pressing your feet into the ground and lifting your hips up into a bridge. Just finding roughly a straight line, knees to hips to shoulders, not too high, and then rolling back down. Think about laying those vertebrae down. Hips are the last thing to come onto the mat, and roll the pelvis forward. Tilting back up, let it carry you, and maybe this time you want to lift the arms above the head, bring them above the head, press into the glutes and the adductors to lift your hips, and then starting to roll down and the arms can come down. So carrying on with these moving bridges, starting to wake up the back of the body. Think about squeezing through the adductors and the inside of the thighs, engaging through your glutes. And if you'd like to add on a little bit more, as your hips come down next time and your arms come forward, maybe start to lift head and shoulders up, just looking towards your knees. And then come back, tilt the pelvis, come back up into your bridge. Just take that a couple more times. So starting to engage a little bit more directly here through the abdominals. Just take one more. I cheated a little bit there. And come back down and recenter yourself if you've walked on the mat. All right, let's bring the knees up into tabletop position. So think about knees over hips. You might need to move them away slightly. And as you do this, you'll probably feel your lower abdominals already starting to switch on. Just bring your hands lightly onto your thighs. We're just going to start with a few dead bugs. Don't be scared. So just going to lengthen the right leg and the right arm away and then bring them back to center. And your hand on your knee is just there to keep that alignment. So you're not pressing, it's just gentle. Left leg, left arm, and back to center. Twice more on each side. Try not to go so far that your low back starts to arch. Instead, you just want to keep that natural shape of the spine. Engage in your stomach muscles. Back in. Hug the knees in. Bring the feet down for a moment. Give your tummy muscles a little rub. And then bring the knees back up and just find that alignment again. And now bring the hands interlace behind the back of the head. Take a big inhale here. And on the exhale, start to lift head and shoulders. Try to keep the knees aligned over the hips. You're going to bring right elbow towards left knee and lengthen the right leg away. Bring it back a couple more times. And then bring right arm to the outside of that left knee. Stretch that right leg away and just hold it. One more breath. Right knee in, hand behind the back of the head. Come down. Woo. Feet onto the mat. Give your tummy a little rub. There we go. All right, hands behind the low back of the head. Just check my microphone's not all, yeah, sorry, it's all tucked into my t-shirt. Hope that was okay and audible. Big breath in, exhale, lift the shoulders, lift the knees. This time, left elbow to right knee, Left leg long and come back in. Twice more. Take a breath. Left arm to the outside of the right knee. Left leg away and hold it. 3 breaths. One more. Ooh, feel the wobbles. Knee comes in. Hands come down. Head back. Knees down. Oh, little rub of the abdomen. Get long from fingers and toes. And then we're just going to come up into all fours, however you want to get there. So we've just warmed up the abdomen a little bit. So we'll just think now a little bit more about using the abdominals for a bit of balance, a bit of stabilization, just to kind of keep that energy going. So hands under shoulders and knees under hips. And just take a few rounds of cat-cow, dropping the belly, really stretching through those abdominals, lifting the pelvis, the gaze. And exhale, tucking the low spine up towards the ceiling, drop the head. Nice stretch through the shoulder blades. Just move in your own pace, your own time. You might want to make it a little bit more circular in nature. Get into the sticky bits of the spine. Take one more. And come to stillness. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We'll start on the left-hand side, just because that's the side I'm facing you. Draw your abdominals in a little bit and feel your low back just get a little bit more stable. The tailbone is in neutral, it's not tucked under, it's not curling up. And we want to try and maintain that alignment whilst we lift the left knee off the mat. Start to bring the foot up towards the ceiling, bring it out towards the side, and bring the knee back down to hover. Twice more. Foot towards the ceiling. Notice the way your low back wants to arch there. Try and keep the low back steady. Coming back down. One more. Use your abdominals. And then go the other way. So kicking out to the side, foot towards the ceiling, and coming in. Twice more. Think about your shoulder blades pressing wide, collarbones are wide. Bring the knee down. Take a little pause if you want, or bring the foot behind you. Straighten the leg. Then curl the leg in. Twice more. Straighten. Think about length through the low spine and curl it in. Straighten and curl it in. And bring the knee back down. Sit back on your heels for a moment. Give your wrists a little bit of a break. And we'll come back up. Find your alignment. Think about the core, the low back. This time, right foot comes up towards the ceiling. Out to the side and in. Twice more. Keep that alignment. Low back is still. Shoulder blades are wide. Gaze is slightly forward of the hands towards the top of the mat. I've lost count. Let's take it the other way. Out to the side, behind you, and down. Twice more. Hover or put it down for a moment, and then lift it up, straighten, find length through your spine, all the way from shoulder blades to the toes, and curl back in. Twice more. My right leg is so much stronger than the left. It's much easier on this side. And then bring the knee in. Take a moment just to maybe circle out the wrists. Okay, and come back up. This time we're going to think about the left leg stretching behind you and the right hand stretching forward. Fingertips and toes touching the mat, and again, draw the abdominals in to support your back. We're going to lift and lower. Twice more. Lift and lower. This time lift and hold the leg still. And swim the arm out to the side and behind you. And swim it back forward. And see if you can do that twice more, maintaining your stability. Lifting that left hip up, don't let it sink. Should have done this the other way so I wasn't hitting the bookcase. Bring the arm forward. See if you can pause. Okay, one more. Bring it floating back behind you and hold there. Bend the foot. See if you can catch it with your right hand and stay there, or kick the foot into the hand. Drop the belly, lift the gaze. Big breath in. Kick the foot into the hand a little bit more. Shoulder blades down the back. And let go gently. Bring the hand back, the knee back. Widen the knees, big toes together. Arms come forward. Nice child's pose. 3 big breaths into the low back. Notice your heart rate. Notice that muscular engagement. And when you're ready, come back up and find your all fours. Draw the abdominals in. Right tiptoes behind you. Left fingertips. Find your length. We're going to lift and touch down. Twice more. Ooh, wobble, wobble on this side. Find your balance. Lift. Hold that right leg and swim the left arm back behind you. And swim it forward. Twice more. Stabilize your balance. Lots of little micro adjustments. Swim it back to hold. Pause there. See if you can bend the knee in. Maybe you can find the foot. Pause there, or kick the foot into the hand. Drop the belly. Lift the gaze. Kick, kick, kick. Lower the shoulders away from the ears. Big breath. One more. And let go gently. Hand down, knee down. And this time, let's tuck the toes, widen the hands. Press up to down facing dog. And just stretch everything out this time. Press the hands into the mat. Press the sitting bones up towards the ceiling. Find that length down the back of the legs. Maybe you want to paddle them out. You can nod or shake the head. And calm back down. All right, last little bit of movement here. Coming down to sit on your sit bones. Bring the feet onto the mat. Holding behind the back of the knees. Just starting to draw those knees in and finding your balance on your bony sit bones there. Try and draw the shoulders up and back. Take a breath. See if you can lighten your toes off the mat. Maybe you could lift one leg, maybe the other. Holding onto the back of the knees. Try and draw the shoulder blades back. Use that tension to find your posture. Let's tap one set of toes down and lift. And the other, using our hip flexors here. Keep that lovely straight back. Carry on with that, or if you'd like, take the right hand away, strengthen the right leg away, bring it back, find your pose again, left and up, twice more, straight back, no hunching. This is about stability. And one more. Draw the knees into the chest, squeeze, 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 squeeze. And bring the feet down and let yourself drape over them. Big breaths into the upper back. Straighten the spine. Let the right leg go in front of you. Just cross the left foot over the right thigh, left hand behind you. And you could just hold that knee in, or you could straighten the right arm back, hook your elbow to the outside of that left knee. Take a little twist. You can go a teeny bit deeper. Oh, it's nice on the shoulders. Come back round. Just bring that foot to the inside of your right thigh. Find length through your spine. And then just hinging at your hips, just to wherever your hands come. Curling those toes back towards you, keeping an active leg. Nice straight spine. Tuck the chin down a little bit so you've got length along the spine. Just feeling that stretch down the hamstrings. And let that go. Lean back. Just wiggle your legs out a little bit. Loosen out the hip flexors. Keeping the left leg in front of you. Lift the right foot over the left thigh. And you could just hold, or you could straighten the left arm up. Hook it to the outside of that right knee. And find your twist. Use that torque between your elbow and your knee to help you into that twist. Finding length in your spine. One more breath. Coming forward, bring the right foot to the inside of the left thigh. Find a long spine, hinge at the hips. Just come to wherever you come to. Active left leg, long straight spine. Nice stretch at the back of the hamstrings, all the way up to where they connect to your sits bones. Keep a little micro bend in the knee maybe. One more breath. And walk the hands back in. Wiggle the legs out a little bit. And then just come to take a seat again. Just check in with how you're feeling now. How does your body feel after doing a little bit of work, a little bit of muscular engagement, and getting the heart rate up a wee bit. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you feel a bit more energized, a bit stronger, a bit ready for the rest of your day. And I look forward to practicing again with you soon.